My name's Jim Hatton-Brown. I'm a technical artist, sculptor, maker of things. I basically create objects and art, and I am trained in sort of technical replication, effectively. Like, I can take any form that exists and in theory replicate it in any material for any purpose, mostly around film and theatre. So I do a lot of props, and I do weapons, armour, scale replicas, and also a lot of private commission projects and sculptural pieces as well. I grew up in Somerset, in a very nice part of the West Country essentially, but a very shitty small town that was quite stifling and grim, and I was always considered to be a bit of an outsider, and you know, as such had a more interesting life, I guess, than perhaps one might want. But yeah, so probably really got into being a creative then, and making stuff, and I loved chunk modelling, just absolutely finding objects and shapes and interpreting objects and looking at pieces of practical design and then finding ways to make them impractical or finding ways to use them for something else. I used to get flower pots and turn them into suits of armour. I used to strap bits of broken garden furniture to my bike and stuff to give it horns and to make it make a sound like a motorbike and stuff. It was, you know, I guess we're talking the late 70s, early 80s, and there wasn't a great deal of money around, certainly as a person in a big family. My dad was a builder, and my mum a teacher most of the time, doing all her costume stuff on the side. You know, we made a lot of our own fun toys and objects and castles, and I spent a lot of my childhood outdoors playing with knives and axes and tools and things, and really enjoyed any kind of making. You know, was a practical person, not an intellectual person. I've definitely always been creative, and it's something I take a lot of joy and pleasure in, and it's a means for me to express myself. Like, it's never satisfactory. Art is never satisfactory. You never quite get the finish, the object, the thing, the original vision. Like, it's always eluded me. It's always incredibly hard to truly get what that first moment was. But that journey and that process and the thing you end up with are still what you end up with, and therefore valuable in their own right. I think the process of designing things, the engagement in the conceptual to start with, and then the process of physically manifesting a concept is hugely satisfying to me. I find that you know, it's exciting, it's engaging, it's always a mission, it's always a journey, it always fucks up, it's always an epic pain in the ass to do any given project, but my passion for it doesn't fail. And having been a commercial salesman and a box packer and a cleaner of drains and you name it, I've done a lot of different things, and I've applied myself to every single thing that I've done. The freedom to actually creatively use your hands to create and manifest real things from nothing, from something else, from whatever, is profound. It has its own magic, and my life has vastly improved on a spiritual level since I started doing that for my day job, rather than trying to push someone else's agenda as a day job. So I guess that's really what it means to me. I mean, it's the freedom to express yourself and your ideas in a way that is aesthetically and emotionally engaging in some way. I've sold a lot of really high-end design objects. I've done Charles Ray Eames chairs, I've done beautiful Ron Arad inspired custom hotel interiors, I've been to places in Italy and Germany and huge trade shows around furniture and design and objects, and my whole life I've been fascinated by curves and lines and light and reflection and depth and you know, grubby manky things and beautiful real things and trees and landscapes and quarries and animals particularly. Like, I grew up very engaged in all of that stuff, and I love natural design, I love the shapes in nature, I love the fact that the whole concept of perception is flawed, and that as such perfection is in the flaws in a thing. Like, that's what makes it special, you know. It's the one mark, the one thing that derails something that makes it unique. And I think good design reflects that. And to be honest, I find a lot of perfect design, like computer made design, accurate, super accurate stuff, is fascinating, but it actually hurts the eyes, like, and it hurts the soul to some degree. It's like, it's unnatural. And so I think that that the handmade object has always got much more interest to me. I'm a crafts person, and design to me is consistent all the way through, but you know, it's different things at different times, because when I take on a freelance project and I've got something specific to make for someone else, they've got an agenda and a specific goal, and I can technically manifest it for them, and I know the techniques and I know the skills and I enjoy the process. And the design thing in that case is a very technical guided process that goes from A to B and ends up in an object. When I'm working with my own conceptual stuff, the design is a very different process. It's more about my free-flowing creative mind. I'm not sat there drawing technical drawings and blowing them up on an OHP and using a micromagnometer to measure exactly how precisely, specifically, accurately it's made. It's like I'm going with a flow, an aesthetic, a vibe, a feel, a look, a taste, a personal preference, which I'm manifesting through my hands in a freestyle sort of way. And there's a great deal of pleasure in that for me. And I consider that no less design in some ways. It's not perhaps like directed design, but it's still a free-form design, and it only happens because I have the competence and confidence in what I do, which is actually all learned techniques, right? So, you know, it does still come down to a technical process, but the organic element, the soul element, is critical to end up with something that has value, I think, at the end.